Hello everyone. Welcome to this video on the use cases of mathematics in data science and Bayesian inference by Simplilearn. In today's video, we will embark on a journey to explore the intrinsic relationship between mathematics and data science. Mathematics serves as the backbone of data science, providing the essential tools and frameworks to extract valuable insights and make informed decisions from data. We will commence by examining various use cases where mathematics plays a pivotal role in data science applications. From predictive modeling to machine learning algorithms and data visualization techniques, we will uncover the mathematical principles that underpin these powerful tools. Furthermore, we will delve into the realm of Bayesian inference, a remarkable paradigm that has revolutionized the way we approach data analysis and decision making. We will dissect the core principles of Bayesian inference, its applications across diverse domains, and the process of updating beliefs based on new evidence.
Craving a career upgrade? Subscribe, like, and comment below. Dive into the link in the description to fast-track your ambitions. Whether you're making a switch or aiming higher, Simplilearn has your back.
Before we commence, just a quick info. If you are ready to advance your data science career, consider Simplilearn's Caltech postgraduate program in data science, ranked as the top PG data science program by AIM. In collaboration with Caltech CTME and IBM, this program equips you with essential skills in Python, machine learning, Tableau, generative AI, and more. Benefit from masterclasses by Caltech instructors and IBM experts. This interactive learning experience covers critical topics through live sessions led by global practitioners. Join successful alumni who have advanced their careers and gained a competitive edge in the job market. So don't forget to check out the course in the description box below and the pinned comment. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this module, and we will be discussing on use cases of mathematics in data science. Then we have Bayesian inference. So Bayesian inference is used widely in different verticals. It's a popular data science technique used for businesses, especially for pricing decisions. So businesses, they can determine the prices for products based on field information like retail and wholesale prices, the size of the market, and the market share. So it can be used for new product development as a whole. Maybe one would look at the different risks by being uncertainties and determining if the project is worth it or not. But again, when it comes down to the Bayesian inference and the business decisions, the most common application relates to the product ranking. So many systems they have been developed to help customers have an ideal and customized shopping experiences. So online shopping giants like Amazon uses it to make ratings appear natural when searching for a product as opposed to displaying rankings in the order, the default option. It is used in terms of marketing, so again, we use it to look at previous campaigns and marketing information to improvise the existing campaigns or make new ones. Hypothesis testing. Then we have hypothesis testing. So hypothesis testing is used in different scenarios. First of all, it is used in clinical trials as well. So many pharmacists and doctors, they use hypothesis testing for clinical trials. So the impact of a new clinical method, medicine, or procedure, or the condition of the patient is analyzed through hypothesis testing. For example, a pharmacist believes that the new medicine is resulting in the rise of blood pressure in diabetic patients. Now, to test this assumption, the researcher has to measure the blood pressure of the sample patients before and after the intake of new medicine for nearly a particular period, let's say 1 month. So then there can be two scenarios. We have the null hypothesis, like the average blood pressure is the same after and before the conception of medicine. And then we can have alternative hypothesis, where the average blood pressure after the consumption of the medicine is less than the average blood pressure before the consumption of medicine. So the p-value of hypothesis test is less than the significance value, then null hypothesis is going to be rejected. It is also used widely in testing the effectiveness of the fertilizers on plants. So nowadays, it is highly used by farmers, by those in the agricultural vertical. So suppose, let's say, a researcher wants to check their assumption that a particular fertilizer may result in faster growth of the plant in a month than its usual growth than what is observed, I suppose, in a couple of plants. Now, to verify this assumption, we will consistently give the fertilizer to the plant for nearly a month, and then it can be further divided into two hypotheses, null and alternative. Where null will be like fertilizer does not have any influence on the growth, and alternative can be the fertilizer results in a faster growth of the plant. And it is also used highly in manufacturing sector as well. So it is used in finding the defects in any kind of manufactured product. For example, let's say manufacturing plant X decides to verify that the particular method results in an increase in the defective products per quarter. Let's say the number can be 200. Now to verify this, we can calculate the mean of numbers of defective products produced before the start and end of the quarter. So again, we can divide them into two different scenarios, null and alternative. When null can be the average number of defective products and alternative can be the average number of defective products before and after the implementation of the new method, and then we can see which one fits into our current criteria. Then we have image and signal processing. So we have a number of use cases for image processing, and it is highly used in different verticals, including insurance, retail, banking, in pharmaceutical, especially in the healthcare community as well. So basically it is used in reverse image search for different purposes. So for example, if we have any image that we want to search the web page, if we use this image for performing a search, we can drag and drop search. And then any search engine will be able to use this image as a base and give us all the relevant links where we can find image or whatever is present in the image. So this is called as a reverse image search. So we can search by an image and find out the relevant details about it. So it uses the artificial intelligence software and image recognition techniques to identify image content and then compare them with billions of images indexed on the web. So the image recognition algorithms they help out find out similar images, the origin of the image, and information about the owner of the image websites using the same image, image plagiarism, and all other relevant information. In the past, reverse image was only used for finding the similar images on the web, but today we can use it for multiple other requirements as well. Then we talk about linear regression. So linear regression is basically a technique through which we can model the relationship between different data pointers, and one of the most widely used use case is the weight loss reduction. So the problem of predicting the weight reduction in the form of number of kilos reduced hypothetically could depend upon the input features that we have: age, height, the weight of the person, and the time spent on exercises. So weight reduction is going to be the function of age, height, weight, and time spent on exercises. So that's why we have a shoe size, which is going to be based on the height, weight, age to time on exercise. So as a part of creating the above model, the goal will be to find the value of B1, B2, B3, B4, and B0, which would minimize the objective function. So the objective function would be the summation of mean squared error, which is nothing but the sum of the square of actual value and the predicted value for different values of age, height, weight, and time spent on exercises. That's how it's going to be. It is also used for forecasting the performance of students based on the marks, based on the number of hours they have put in. Let's consider the problem of predicting the marks of a student based on number of hours he or she puts into the preparation. Although at the outside it may look like a problem that can be modeled using simple linear regression, it could turn out to be a multiple linear regression problem, depending upon multiple input features. And alternatively, it can also look like a problem that can be modeled using simple linear regression, but it can be a multiple linear regression problem. So let's assume for the sake of understanding that the marks of student M depends upon the number of hours he or she puts for the preparation. So this is going to be the formula that can represent this model marks, where M multiplied by the hours plus the constant. So the best way to determine whether it is simple linear regression problem will be to do a plot of marks versus hours. A plot is going to be completely diagonal, and again, it is going to be a good fit for linear regression setup. So we have predictive modeling, which is basically used to model the probability distribution of variables in a given data set. So there are multiple use cases. First of all, we have churn prevention. So when a business loses a customer, it has to replace a loss of revenue by bringing a new customer. So it proves to be expensive as the cost of acquiring a new customer is much higher than retaining the existing customer. So predictive analytics model, they help us in preventing the churn in our customer base by analyzing the dissatisfaction among our current customers and then identifying the customer segments at most risk for leaving. Our businesses can make the necessary modifications using predictive data to keep customers happy and satisfied, eventually protecting their revenue. And then it is also used for customer segmentation. So it allows us to group the customers by shared traits in different businesses. They define the market differently, depending upon the aspects that offer the most value to the company products or services. So profound use of this analysis technique allows us to target the markets based on accurate insight and indicators, and then we can analyze these segments of those most interested in what our company offers. So there are multiple verticals like banking, pharmaceutical, retail, insurance, automotive sector. They all make use of customer segmentation. And then in terms of quality assurance, so ineffective quality control will affect our customer satisfaction scale and ultimately impact the revenue and market share. Also leads to more customer support calls, warranty issues, repairs for inefficient manufacturing, and so on. So, using predictive analytics, we can help identify high-risk modules in our application where we can prioritize the critical areas. We can reduce the time to market through shift-left testing. And by using this, we are going to get a better quality. And we will be able to tame customers for long and different verticals like pharmaceutical, manufacturing, automotive, logistic, transportation. They all make use of this to keep on improvising their current business models. And as we discussed earlier, there are multiple use cases of these in healthcare. Like we use that in creating some kind of prediction modeling. So all the data sets from the demographics, clinical measurements, medical history, mathematics, they all are used to create models so that we can make an accurate prediction. How the same data set is going to behave for any future references, how we can find the most probable condition before it actually happens. So they use to analyze large data sets of health-related information so that we can prevent the disease before they happen. Like we have the image scanning for lung. So based on the previous lung cancer patients, we know what exactly is a pattern or development of cancer cells. And based on the current scanning, which has already been completed, we can let the patient know if they are having a probability of developing the same lung cancer or not. So that since they will be having enough amount of time, we can make the right decision at the right time so that the prevention of cancer can get started before it spreads. Then we have some clinical files like we discussed. So mathematics play a crucial role in the design and analysis of clinical trials so we can make use of the models. We can make use of the hypothesis testing to see if a given drug is effective or not, and then we can carry on with other hypothesis scenarios. It is used for medical imaging so that we can know how exactly we can identify tumors. We can identify cells. We can identify some kind of cancer cells before they actually start in the blood, so that we can analyze thousands of previous scans done, and based on the pattern seen in the actual patients, we can cross-verify that by using the current scan and simply get the best probability of developing a cancer and so on. These all things can be easily verified there, and it is also used in precision medicine to ensure that we are able to give and use the right amount of medicine, so that the possibility of them getting an overdose or getting less than what will be effective for their treatment can be avoided. So these things are all done by using machine learning.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.